14 Legal Hotline Q&A, Short Sales, Part 2. A week later, Mark received a call from another agent. "Hey Mark," the agent said, "I've got a few questions about this short sale, and honestly, I'm getting different answers from everyone I ask." Mark smiled. "I've learned that's usually a sign it's time to check the contract or call the legal hotline." After hanging up, he walked into Lisa's office. "I think I'm beginning to understand why experienced agents rely on the legal hotline." Lisa laughed. Every broker has a story about a transaction where one phone call to the legal hotline prevented a very expensive mistake. She opened a folder labeled Short Sale Legal Hotline Questions. Let's look at a few more real situations Arizona agents have encountered. Legal Hotline Question number 1. Should a listing agent share their Equator username and password? Mark looked puzzled. "What's Equator?" Lisa explained that Equator was a web-based platform many lenders previously used to manage short sale files and communicate with real estate professionals. While technology platforms continue to evolve, the lesson remains the same. Never share your login credentials or give unauthorized individuals access to your professional accounts. She continued, "Years ago, some third-party negotiators asked listing agents for their usernames and passwords so they could communicate directly with lenders. That might have sounded convenient, but it created serious problems." Lisa explained that sharing account credentials could expose confidential client information, violate user agreements, and potentially breach an agent's fiduciary duties. "The lesson still applies today," she said. "Whether it's a lender portal, transaction management system, MLS account, or cloud storage platform, your login credentials are yours alone." Mark nodded. "So convenience should never outweigh protecting confidential information." Exactly. Legal hotline question number 2. Can the seller cancel a short sale contract while waiting for lender approval? Lisa continued, "Imagine you've been waiting 3 months for lender approval. The seller becomes frustrated and decides they no longer want to sell. What happens?" Mark thought for a moment. "I suppose they can just cancel." Lisa smiled. "Not necessarily." She explained that every purchase contract and short sale addendum should be reviewed carefully. The Arizona Realtors forms establish rights and responsibilities for both the buyer and seller, and the specific contract language controls the parties' obligations. In some situations, Lisa explained, the contract may address cancellation rights. In others, legal principles regarding what constitutes a reasonable period of time may become important. She reminded Mark that brokers should encourage sellers to discuss these issues before accepting an offer, so everyone understands the contract terms and expectations. Good communication at the beginning of the transaction often prevents disputes later. Legal hotline question number 3. Must every higher offer be submitted to the lender? Mark asked another question. "What if another buyer submits a better offer while we're waiting for lender approval?" Lisa smiled. "That depends on whether the offer has been accepted." She explained that under the Arizona Realtors short sale addendum, accepted short sale offers generally must be submitted to the lender as required by the contract. However, simply receiving a higher offer does not automatically require the seller to terminate an existing accepted contract or submit every unaccepted offer. The seller still decides whether to accept an offer, Lisa explained. Once it's accepted, the contract controls what happens next. Mark nodded. "So there's a difference between receiving an offer and accepting one." Exactly. Legal hotline question number 4. What happens if the property is foreclosed before the short sale is approved? Lisa pointed to another legal hotline article. "This situation is unfortunate, but it does happen." She explained that if the lender completes the foreclosure before approving the short sale, ownership of the property changes through the foreclosure process. As a result, she explained, the short sale generally cannot proceed because the seller no longer owns the property. Mark looked disappointed. "So months of work can disappear overnight." They can. That's why experienced short sale agents constantly monitor foreclosure timelines, maintain communication with the lender, and avoid assuming the foreclosure will automatically be postponed. Legal hotline question number 5. Should a seller transfer the property into a trust before a short sale? I actually heard someone suggest that last week. Lisa's expression became serious. That recommendation should immediately raise questions. She explained that over the years, some distressed homeowners were encouraged to transfer title into trusts or other entities before beginning a short sale. Many of these schemes were designed to benefit someone other than the homeowner. Lisa reminded Mark that the Arizona Realtors short sale seller advisory warns homeowners to be cautious of any person encouraging unnecessary title transfers or promising guaranteed results through complicated ownership structures. If someone recommends transferring title before a short sale, Lisa said, the homeowner should immediately obtain independent legal advice before signing anything. She paused before offering one final lesson. The legal hotline doesn't replace legal advice, but it does remind us how often unusual situations arise in short sale transactions. Mark smiled. I've noticed something. The best answer usually isn't giving an opinion. It's knowing where to find the correct answer. Lisa smiled. Exactly. Professional real estate practice isn't about pretending to know everything. It's about protecting your clients, following the contract, staying within the scope of your license, and asking for help when needed. She closed the legal hotline folder. Now that we've covered the legal issues surrounding short sales, we're ready to begin building the lender's short sale package and learning how to successfully market a short sale property. Key takeaways: protect confidential client information by never sharing professional account credentials. Review the purchase contract and short sale addendum carefully before discussing cancellation rights. Accepted short sale offers should be handled in accordance with the purchase contract and applicable addenda. Foreclosure may prevent a short sale from closing if ownership transfers before lender approval. Encourage sellers to seek independent legal advice before transferring title or participating in unusual transaction structures. Online discussion question 1. Why should Arizona real estate professionals avoid sharing usernames and passwords for transaction platforms or lender portals? Answer: sharing login credentials may expose confidential client information, violate user agreements, and breach an agent's fiduciary duties. Professionals should always protect secure access to their accounts. Question 2. Why is it important to carefully review the short sale addendum before discussing cancellation rights? Answer: the purchase contract and short sale addendum establish the rights and obligations of the parties. Understanding the contract helps avoid misunderstandings and potential disputes. Why should homeowners seek legal advice before transferring title to a trust or another entity as part of a proposed short sale? Answer: title transfers can create significant legal consequences and may be associated with fraudulent schemes. Independent legal advice helps homeowners understand their rights and protects them from potential fraud.